Hey guys, today I'm attempting to make a miniature kitchen island for my new crafting scene setup, so let's see if I can make it happen. I got these small natural wooden cases from the Dollar Tree as I thought they'd be perfect for making my kitchen island and easy to work with. I have 4 of them in total, and I'll be making a sort of L-shaped island counter out of them. I'm going to start by removing all of these pesky little barcode stickers on each one. I thought it was going to give me some trouble, but they actually peeled off satisfyingly well. For the shelves inside, I want to make at least 2 in each crate, and since there's a lot of depth on the inside of the crate, I'm going to need to make them really deep, and for that I'm going to be using these jumbo wooden craft sticks and just adjusting the length and width of them to fit the inside of the wooden crates. I'm going to measure about how long I will need the wood pieces to be, so I'm going to bust out my ruler for that and go ahead and make notches where the cuts will need to be. So I've gone ahead and made all the notches on this craft stick, and I'm just going to use the ruler as a guide and draw full lines all the way down, and then I'll use this stick to mark all the other sticks I'll be cutting. I made it so that I can get at least 3 wooden slats off of each stick, so I'm not wasting much. Gotta use that noodle. And before anyone says anything, I do have PPE for this next portion. I will be wearing these safety goggles and a mask. The only thing I don't have is protective blade gloves, but I'm always careful, so don't worry. That's right, I'm busting out my mini saw to cut the slats. You didn't think I was going to cut all these with an X-Acto knife, did you? Shame, shame, shame. Once I finish cutting, I go straight into sanding, making sure both sides are nice and smooth and even. It took a hot minute because I had made a ton of slats, but I cut that part out so you didn't have to suffer through it all. You guys don't have to thank me. This is what I do. So the only thing about using the sander is sometimes it doesn't get all the pieces off easily, and I end up having to go over it like multiple times for each piece. And I guess that's okay sometimes, but sometimes it does make it take a little extra long if you want to get it nice and perfect, and I always kind of like to get my stuff as perfect as possible. I did that for every slat, and once I was done, I had this many sticks in total, plus some extras in case there were any casualties. Now, to glue all these together, I am using some Loctite super glue gel with gel control, because that's important. At least to me anyway. I hate how normal super glue just splashes everywhere and you get glue all over you. So I just dab a few drops all the way down the edge of the slat and then stick them together. And I'll repeat that until I have all of the sets completed. Now, the only other thing with using this super glue gel method is that I did end up having to lay out my silicone mat just to make sure that they didn't glue to my desk when I set them down. Once they dried and are nicely secured, here's what I'm working with. Now these are wide enough to fill the whole crate, but I did end up with some overage that'll peek outside of the cabinet. I could have cut it down lengthwise to make sure they had a perfect fit, but I wasn't going to do that. It would take too long, and I actually don't mind the extra lip of the shelves being out a bit, so we're just going to pretend that no one else will care either. Good, let's move on then. I'll be using tacky glue to secure them into place, And I'll add it to all the edges, but the edge that will be on the outer part of the cabinet because it won't need it for obvious reasons. So I'm just going to try to be careful not to get glue all over myself. And even in doing that, this was still pretty messy, only because one of the shelves was a bit longer than needed and I knew I was just going to have to cram it in, this one in particular. And so glue got everywhere on the outside of it and on the inside, and I had to clean that up and adjust it a bit. But as far as everything else, the rest of the shelves were pretty easy to get in. I just did have to do a little bit more cleanup from the excess glue that pushed out as I put them in. Now I did try to be careful when I was cleaning this up because I didn't want the glue to spread too much and I didn't want to smudge it everywhere and have it look like a gluey mess later on. So I just tried to be extra careful with what I was doing. I won't say that cleanup was a breeze, but it wasn't too bad, you know. Now we're just going to continue to finish filling all of these shelves into the crates and making sure that they're nice and secure before we move on to the next step. Alright, now that that's done, here's what each shelf looks like so far. I think they look amazing and I'm quite happy with them, so now it's time to just fix all of our cabinets together. And I'll be using tacky glue again, but with Loctite gel glue. And I do that because the tacky glue will ensure a nice strong bond between each unit, and the super glue will ensure that it affixes to each other and provides a strong hold for now so I can finish the project relatively quicker. Because tacky glue takes many hours to dry on its own, and I want it to get this done in like maybe 2 hours, and I know the super glue gel will hold it together well enough for me to do what I need to do in this next step. So for now, I am carefully dabbing on the Loctite gel over all of the little squiggly tacky glue lines that I made earlier on each piece, and then just stacking those together, and then I'll hold it for just a few seconds just to make sure that it adheres, and I can also take the time to make sure everything is aligned properly and correctly, and then I move on to doing the same thing on the next one. Now actually I only need to do this for 3 of the crates because the last crate, the 4th crate that I have, is going to be angled a different way, kind of like facing inward, I guess. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to attach something to the corner of the final 3rd one and the 4th one to make it look more L-shaped. But before I do that, I'm going to attach the final crate on here and then go hunt around for some clamps that I can use to make sure that they're secure together before I attempt to try to glue the extra piece that I need to glue on in order to make it into an L shape. Alright, here's how it looks so far, and it's pretty well sealed together, so it's time to bust out the clamps. I did find 2 of them, and I'm just going to place them in the middle of the joints of each shelf just to hold that together pretty well. And now it's time to bring in what I found for the L-shaped part of this, and that is this little square block I found in my drawer, and it fits perfectly, like perfectly. For joining this together. And so I'm just trying it out just to see exactly where I need to place it and where it needs to be fixed, and then I went ahead and glued it together, and this is how it's looking so far. And I'm going to let it sit and dry for a while, and then afterwards I will be back for the next step.
2 hours later.
Alright, I am back, and I went ahead and colored it outside using this Color Shot spray paint in Wine Stain, and it's pretty nice. I will give you a quick glimpse of it. This is how it's turned out. It is nice and burgundy, I guess, is well, it looks like wine. That's the whole point of the color name. It's a burgundy wine color. And now I'm going to actually fix something onto the top of this to make it even more finished. And that is going to be this piece of vinyl floor tile. I liked the wood texture of it. I thought it was pretty, and I just went ahead and cut it down to the L shape that I needed. And we're just going to basically stick that on top of this to finish the cabinet island kitchen shelf. I will say this tile in particular, it's super sticky, so I was really glad about that because I wanted it to have a great hold and not have to use any like glue or anything underneath it to make sure that it doesn't come off later. Not that I'll be doing anything really strenuous with it, I'll just be cooking per se in quotations on top of it with my little crafting videos. And so I'm just going to press that down really well, nice and hard and firm, just to make sure that it is adhered to the wood. And we're done, guys. This is how it turned out. I have to say, I really love it. I think it looks amazing. I have this kitchen that I already pre-painted and adjusted the way that I want it to before. And so that's going to be in the background of it, and this is going to be in the foreground. So you guys let me know what you think, if you enjoy it, or if you want to see more crafts and things of this nature. I would appreciate you guys leaving a comment down below, or like the video if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you want to see next, okay? I always appreciate that. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!